everyone. So first, I want you all to imagine yourself in a stadium amongst tens of thousands of strangers that you have never and may never cross paths with in your lifetime. And yet, when the clock for halftime strikes and the wave comes to you, we're gonna start this way and go there, okay, ready? You raise your hands anyway, and in that moment, something extraordinary happens. Everyone in the stadium, stranger or not, is united by this collective sweeping wave. I feel as though hustle culture, not unlike sports culture, has become a culture in itself. The culture of the 21st century, if you will. It guides billions of people worldwide throughout their lives, and it's especially apparent in a place like Whitney, where students are taught to grind, to outdo each other, to win, to strive for nothing but the best, as our very alma mater preaches. Why though? Why do we put ourselves through it all? Why do we hustle? I spent a lot of time deliberating these existential questions amidst late car rides home and long study sessions. And the conclusion I came to was rather unconventional. There's nothing more exhilarating than collective empowerment. Let me explain. The reality is, nobody is forcing your hand to do your homework, to ace that test, or to fill up your schedule. We're not actually stuck in this wave. Somewhere along the way, we buy into the competition ourselves and push ourselves to stay in it. We don't hustle because we're forced to. We do so because there's a part of us deep down that enjoys it and feels fulfillment from it. There's a powerful feeling that comes with being a part of this collective forward momentum. At Harvard Business School, researchers conducted an experiment where they told a group of students that, according to data, you were deemed to be busier than students from another school. This was followed up by telling these students to list the activities that they felt made them busier. Finally, these students were given a choice to choose between either taking a day off or completing additional surveys for extra credit. What these researchers found was that compared to the control group, these students who had been primed to feel busier were actually far more likely to choose to complete additional surveys, further showing that when the busyness mindset is activated, it reinforces itself. It fosters an atmosphere where ambition is the norm and striving for diligence is valued. For me, I grew up alongside the pulse of hustle culture. My story began in Hong Kong, a city where fast pace isn't just a description, it was culture. From the aunties hollering at you from bustling pavement streets to sell you their fresh hot egg waffles, to the calm chaos of the MTR during rush hour. Hustle was as constant as the air you breathed, and growing up alongside that energy was electric. However, I remain that the biggest influence on my personal mindset began within my home, with my parents. Growing up, my father worked over 100-hour weeks overseas, and my mother worked as well, rising out of the extreme poverty that she was born into. And later in life, and as a testament to their lifelong tenacity, our family gained another identity. We became American immigrants. And I'm sure a lot of you in the audience can agree that as parents, you try to pass on as much wisdom onto your children as possible. And I'm sure as children, we can agree that a lot of it doesn't stick. But I want to share with you all today a principle that my mother raised me and my brother on that did stick with me. Something I would go as far as to say I live my life by. She believed that as long as you were willing to learn and to optimize your time, that you could truly embody what it means to be well-rounded. Not only that, but you were capable of doing anything with the time that you have. And although I wasn't always this way, throughout my time at Whitney, I've truly adapted this busyness mindset like second nature. From teaching myself how to dance and choreograph for Whitney's Chinese culture club, Club Chang'an, to delving into youth journalism with our school newspaper, to touring Europe with my youth orchestra, and even standing on the stage today. I became addicted to the momentum, and I cannot imagine my life without this drive. But if this hustle mindset can be so positive, Why do headlines like these exist? Well, the media is not entirely wrong. Overworking does cause burnout, which can be detrimental to mental health. If you strive to win and please in every aspect of your life, down to efforts that even you find meaningless and fruitless, then riding the waves of hustle culture won't just be exhausting. It will be an unhealthy waste of your time. However, the good news is they're not completely right either. The problem isn't the drive or the capacity for hard work that hustle culture encourages. The problem is the external definition of success that many people use to fuel it, a socially established checklist. If you ride the waves of hustle culture without a true direction of where you want to go, but merely going through the motions of rise and grind, then perspective is lost, and all of this productivity makes no impact. More concerningly, it breeds social apathy and keeps our society standing stagnant. In a Times Magazine article titled, "It's Harder Than Ever to Care About Anything," editor Lily Rothman touches on the epidemic that's taken the world by storm, coining it the Great Whatever. In this article, she talks about how after years of continuous crises, from pandemic, political conflict, climate change, etc., people are feeling a collective exhaustion that makes them struggle to care about anything beyond the problems of their own lives. I think a lot of us have seen this phenomenon at work firsthand. Think about when the pandemic was first lifted. We saw a spike in care because there was a spike in hope. The pandemic first forced the world to stay still, and through halting the constant motion of our lives, we became more present, more aware of the bigger picture problems around us. But we made the mistake of coming back naive. We didn't realize how difficult making meaningful change actually takes. The amount of time, energy, and resources that a lot of us don't have that it would require. And so, as time went by, crises continued to pile on and we became indifferent. Now, I want us to do a little activity, a call and response, if you will. I'm gonna name an issue and you guys are gonna say whatever and say it loudly, okay? Ready? World hunger. Whatever. Human trafficking. Whatever. Genocide. Whatever. Now that sounds ridiculous, right? But that's the reality. Think about this previous election and how many people, maybe even yourself included, didn't care about politics. Or how we went from an age of visco girls and environmental consciousness to climate indifference. I think we as a society are currently at the peak of this great whatever, and the world that's seemingly falling apart already will only get worse if you continue. The point of life isn't to be better than your peers. That effort is so insignificant compared to creating actual social change. Being tunnel visioned into your own life and problems doesn't make the root of these stressors just go away. It only traps you into becoming the victim of hustle culture, measured by small, menial, repeated victories instead of social impact that matters. There's a saying that goes, standing still is the fastest way to move backwards. And as a society, I think we're mistaking motion for progress, and running in place is keeping our world from meeting its full potential. I want to end my talk today with this. Not everything you do has to be revolutionary. Life is nothing without doing things that we simply enjoy. But what if you could change the world by doing something you enjoy? I want you all to leave my talk today thinking about something that you love to do. And I don't mean sleeping or scrolling, but something that fills you up with passion and sparks the light in your eyes when you talk about it. If you can't think of something right now, that's okay. Start with something you like or are merely interested to try. And now, think about how your passion can make your community just a little bit better. And feel the momentum from hustle culture and start there. Just like in a stadium, it only takes one person to start the wave for it to go around. Meaningful change only takes one person caring deeply. So if we all find a wave to create, then together we can create a tsunami of change. Thank you.